people that's where they are most of the day. Some of our kids eat 3 meals a day at school. And it's where you learn things, so why not learn how to keep your body healthy? And finally, Dave will tell us more about this later, I think. Healthy kids learn better, and that's what schools are about, is improving academic performance. This is the Institute of Medicine. Has anybody seen Weight of the Nation, that HBO series? Well, if you haven't, rent it. Get it through Netflix. It's wonderful. And it was made by HBO to go with this report from the Institute of Medicine, which is not a dry document. It's really a great document outlining 5 goals for what we should be doing as a nation. It's all things that we're already doing because we've all been working from the same page book all these years, the CDC and the Institute of Medicine. And this is what it says: healthcare providers should be involved in population health and obesity prevention. It's no longer adequate to just take care of patients one at a time. We have to step into population strategies, and where should that be for children at schools? This is the Institute of Medicine public health diagram for what they think their approach should be, and I've put us right in the middle. Their diagram puts the overall messages need to be uniform, and they have to be in the schools, addressing food and beverage, physical activity, and health care. But in their diagram, all the circles don't quite come together. Our philosophy in Docs Adopt School Wellness is they come together. The health care comes into the schools to make this change. So we're improving on the Institute of Medicine just a little bit. This money to support this comes from the Boeing company. If anybody knows somebody that works for Boeing, does anybody know somebody that works for Boeing? Please tell them thank you, because this is the money that supports the incentives that goes out to the schools. The Boeing Center for Children's Wellness, built upon our years of work, previously called the LEAN Team, and our goal is to prevent and treat childhood obesity. And here's the Docs Adopt initiative with the sign in front of Lang Middle School. I think, Dave, are you here? Yeah. And every school you can, you don't have to. We're not going to put your name up there without your permission, but if you're a doctor adopting a school, we like to put this sign out front saying this is an adopted school and who the doctor is. So this is the number of schools adopted in our county. In Charleston County is about 90% last year. 85 doctors adopting the schools, and previous analysis has shown that really helps schools in their school wellness activities. We've also, during this last year, spread to Berkeley County and Dorchester County. In Dorchester County, in the Somerville part of Dorchester County, Docs Adopt has been designated a project by the Dorchester County Medical Society. Like here, we are a project of the Charleston County Medical Society. This is a research abstract that Colleen and I did, Jennifer, Colleen, and Lydia King and I did, demonstrating that having a doctor on the School Wellness Committee, even though we don't make it to many meetings, still our membership on the committee was associated with that school making more healthy changes. At the end of the year, you'll hear tonight about how the whole program works, but at the end of the year we have a wellness checklist contest we have for the last 3 years, and these are pictures from 2011, 2012, 2010, 2011, 2011, 2012, and then this year the winner was Goodwin Elementary. Is Goodwin here? Yes. And the little guy that accepted the silver trophy, what was his name? Matthew is on their wellness committee. So the winning school, the overall winning school, gets this beautiful silver trophy engraved with the school name to live at your school for just the 1 year. You have to give it back next year. It's like Miss America and the Crown. All right. That's it.
Good evening. Anytime I get in front of folks, I like to tell them a little bit about school nutrition, because there's the side where we try to serve nutritious meals, and then there's the side where I have to balance the budget. And we pay all of our bills. I don't know if you all realize, but we pay indirect costs back to the district. Every dollar that we take in, 8.5 cents goes back to the district. So every dollar, if you're a business, every dollar you take in, you send back 8.5 cents. 2.5 cents at every dollar we take in is spent on equipment. We spent over $500,000 on new equipment last year. So the money, all of a sudden, I'm losing less. We get, reimbursement-wise, we get $3.01 this year for a student who gets a meal free. And that's most of our students that we serve meals to, $3.01. 50% of that is our labor budget. We pay labor, we pay fringe. So that's about $1.50. So now I have about $1.51 left, and then I take out another 25 cents for indirect costs. So I'm less than $1.25 left to put a meal in front of a child. And then milk costs 23 cents. So now I'm down to about $1. And if you're a full-paid student, you're going to pay $2.25. So now I'm getting less to put a meal in front of a child. So I just want to let you know that we try and balance the nutrition and the finance. Last year, we served over 7 million meals between breakfast and lunch. Not counting any a la carte, 7 million meals. We made 1 penny a meal. And this year, we'll probably have to spend about another $500,000 in new equipment. So it becomes very tough to balance. But we're trying. So what's changed over the last 7 years? Well, I'd like to tell a story, and I hope Dr. Ann doesn't mind. But when I got my computer when I first came into the food service business here in the district, I started looking through and I found an article from Dr. Ann. So I call her up and she comes and visits and she's telling me everything she changes and how it can make the meals more healthy. I'm thinking, what's one thing I can do? And one thing she kept talking about was Pop-Tarts. And that's when I found out how many oses were in Pop-Tarts. Kept using the OS words. There's a lot of sugar in Pop-Tarts. So the first thing we did, I don't know if you realize, it's been probably 5.5 years now, we haven't had Pop-Tarts in the cafeterias. The issue we run into, as soon as we got rid of them in the cafeterias, they're in the vending machines, which I have no control of the vending machines. But we did get rid of them in the cafeterias. The other thing that we did is we did have flavored milk. Vanilla and strawberry. At that time, vanilla and strawberry milk was about 28 grams of sugar. Now, we did away with vanilla and strawberry, I guess, about 4 years ago. Chocolate milk had a little bit less. It was about 24 grams. And, of course, the white milk had 12 grams. They changed the formula on the chocolate milk. Now, the chocolate milk only has 18 grams. So at least it's heading in the right direction. And I know some folks don't like chocolate milk. But a lot of kids wouldn't pick up chocolate milk and get their vitamin A and vitamin D if it wasn't chocolate. They wouldn't drink the white milk. Over 60% of the milk that the child chooses in the district is chocolate milk. And later on, I'll tell you about a campaign we got going that hopefully will get students to make even better choices. The other thing, 7 years ago when I came on, our busiest day of the week was when we served spaghetti and cinnamon rolls. And I still have teachers asking when we're going to bring cinnamon rolls back. But we got rid of cinnamon rolls. And where can you find a big cinnamon roll now? In the vending machine. But we got rid of cinnamon rolls. We also, if you ever watched, I guess it's been 3 years ago now, Jamie Oliver came on TV. I'm telling you what, chopped up chicken, he really got us on that one. Now, do I think it's okay? Yes, but you will not find the chopped and pressed chicken on our menu, anywhere on the menu. All the chicken that you get, if it's an orange chicken, if it's a teriyaki chicken that's going to be in the menu tomorrow, it is a whole muscle chicken. The orange chicken and the teriyaki chicken is the same chicken that if you went into Trader Joe's and bought their chicken, it's the same exact chicken. There are not a bunch of additives at the bottom of it. All of our grains are whole grains. And that has to be, by next year, it's mandated. Everything has to be a whole grain item, or at least 51% whole grain by next year, everything. But all of the grains that we have right now are whole grains. We tried meatless Mondays. And that's when I've got the different ends of the economic scale. I had parents that loved it, but their kids weren't really buying our lunches. And then I had parents calling up. This was the only meal their child was eating that day out of school. They weren't getting anything to get home. And they were asking, where is the meat? So We do try and sneak in some meatless days now, but we don't call them meatless days. Because that ended up being our participation dropped so much that particular day that we were actually losing money on that day, on a meatless day. We went through the pink slime debate. I don't know if you all remember that. And yes, we did have meat that was coming into the district that had pink slime. The meat, we did away with that. None of the meat that comes to this district has pink slime. If we have a burger on the menu, it's 100% beef. Now, you go to districts in this state, and they'll have burgers that are cherry filled or have some type of filling in them, so you get the cost down. And yeah, you can get a burger for less than 20 cents a pop. But ours costs twice as much of that because it's 100% beef. Remember now, I only got about $1 to spend. So when they do have a burger, it's 100%, and that bun is a whole grain bun. Because we want the child to eat. The other thing that we changed, I'm trying to think what else is new. Oh, our breakfast program, and we're still working on that. We wanted more kids to eat breakfast. 3 years ago, we served about 14,000 breakfasts a day. 2 years was 15,000. Last year, we started averaging over 18,000 breakfasts a day in the school district. And that was through breakfast in the classroom. We're still making some tweaks on breakfast in the classroom, but we are serving more breakfasts, and we're hoping that ultimately it'll be less visits to the nurse's office and less visits to the principal's office, because the child does have something to eat. Because a lot of our children that come into our schools don't have anything to eat at home. And we'll talk about that in a second, too. All right, let me get into this. I got this quote, when I am hungry, a hungry man is an angry man, especially when his kids are hungry, too. And that's why we're serving 3 meals a day now. By October 5th, we'll be serving supper in 35 schools. So breakfast, lunch, and supper, they're eating just about all their meals at school. Now, it's been proven that it works. If the child is getting tutored after school, they're going to perform better. A few years ago at Fraser Elementary, when it was still open, my brother actually had a program there where they served supper and did tutoring. And out of those kids, almost all of them, about 2, their grades improved. So if they can get some tutoring after school and a meal and they can go home and they're not hungry, they're going to perform better. So we'll have 35 schools by October the 5th. School breakfast, we rolled it out, and again, we're still trying to perfect breakfast in the classroom, but there was one school that really didn't want to do it, and they love it now. And we asked this question. It says, raise your hand if you have a student that comes to school and sits in your classroom hungry every morning. Every teacher raised their hand because they have a child hungry sitting in their classroom. So if we can just get them to have some type of breakfast, a whole grain muffin or yogurt, and again, we're still trying to tweak some of the menu items because we want the child to eat too. But any of the items that we get are going to be whole grain. The other thing that we found out, this is out at Angel Oak. This is an actual trial, 7:20 in the morning, and they're engaged with the teacher. We got there very, very early. It was amazing and it's an unbelievable breakfast program. If you go out there and take a look at the students coming into the classroom and getting engaged right away, it was awesome. And from the administrators, they reported there's a decrease in discipline issues and fewer school visits to the nurse. We also did this, I'll kind of segue too, at North Charleston High School, we do breakfast in the classroom. And I went to Mr. Grimm, and I said, hey, do you know there's a school am I cutting your time? There's a school in in New Orleans that they have about 500 students. And he goes, yeah. I said, and they have about the same average daily attendance as you do. He goes, yeah. I said, they put breakfast in the classroom in, and their attendance jumped by 5%. We had kids at North Charleston High School that were walking into the cafeteria, getting breakfast, and then leaving and coming back for lunch. They weren't going to class. I don't know if anybody here from North Charleston High School, but that was happening. So he's on board. So now they've got to go to the classroom to get breakfast. So it's working. And his average daily attendance is going up. Changing lives. One of the things that we did 5 years ago, we started writing fresh fruits and vegetable grants. And we couldn't do it without the help of y'all. Many of the nurses here and many of the administrators in the school, because we need your help to pull this off. When we started 5 years ago, we had one grant for about $25,000. And nobody else was really applying for grants. The state gave 132 grants single schools this year, we got 27 grants for $440,000. And the reason I put this picture in here is this child, somebody here may know what school this is, but I won't mention. This child was in the principal's office or in the nurse's office almost every day. Okay? Didn't have a reason to come to school except for sitting in the nurse's office or the principal's office. And then the nurse said, hey, why don't you help out with our fresh fruits and vegetable grant? And what that does is it allows the children to have fresh fruits and vegetables between breakfast and lunch or between lunch and the end of the day. And they get exposed to a lot of different vegetables and fruits. This child's grades all of a sudden went up. He had a reason to come to school. So if it was $440,000 for this one child, it was worth it. So the program does change lives. I wrote these two quotes here. The food needs to look good, taste good, or the kids won't like it. We're improving that. Because what's happening right now is you'll go to one side of the district and the food will look great. And you go to another side of the district and it's the same menu and you go, I don't like this. And they did and if you want to see a great video, go look at this video called Yuck. As a kid did his own documentary, and he actually went, I don't know if you'll, Rachel Ray did a salad in one of the schools. And he actually went after she left and took a picture of the menu, and they went to the school and took a picture of what her salad was supposed to look like. And he said, yeah, it had some colors in there. There was some, some yellow lettuce and some green lettuce and some brown lettuce. But it looked nothing like what she'd originally put in front of the child. So this Friday, we're actually going to be next door at Buse filming what our menu is supposed to look like. So we can put that in front of the students. So we want to make sure they like it and they look good. I want to put this in here. What are we doing? This is Wando High School. For us to serve fresh fruits and vegetables from a farmer, it has to be GAP certified. So I got with Katie about a year, almost 2 years ago now, and we provided the funds for her to make these beds. And it was unbelievable to watch the students come out there and realize that what they were going to grow in that garden was going to be served in the cafeteria. This salad you see down here on the right-hand side, that is from that garden. She went out and got GAP certified, and by next year she'll actually have a huge house that, what do you call it? Greenhouse, thank you. A huge greenhouse so we can expand it even more. But we're going to spend some money with Katie and expand her garden because she got GAP certified. And a farmer has to be GAP certified for us to use their fruits and vegetables. There's a farmer between here and Orangeburg that we're talking with right now that's growing different types of lettuce that have the same nutritional value as romaine. And they have some different names, and I'm not even sure what the names are, but we're going to buy some of his lettuce and bring it down here and serve it in the schools. So you'll see that coming. Every year, I don't know if you realize, the strawberries that we get in March and April come from a farm on the other side of Florence. We buy $4,500 worth of strawberries a week from this farmer. So we're supporting the farmers in South Carolina. And we're looking for more farmers that are getting their GAP certification. And there are more. They're working on that. Okay, I don't cut into your time. Some of the programs we're working on, we're going to parfait program. What's interesting about this, we started the parfait program and we're testing it at schools. Until we put the sticker on top of it, the kids didn't buy it. As soon as we put a sticker on top, they started buying it. I'm going to scoot on it. Working on a smoothie program. This is all fresh fruits and vegetables going in the smoothie. That'll be out soon. As we're working its way through the high schools. This is probably my favorite one. Got water. We just started this. Okay? We've got it in about 7 schools already, and it will show up at your school pretty soon. But if you talk to anybody, what are people lacking? Water. They're not hydrated. Why does somebody have a headache in their class? They need water. They're not hydrated. So we talked to the State Department, and what we also noticed that when a child goes to the line, they're automatically just picking up milk. In a lot of cases, they're not even drinking it. They're just throwing it away. So we're going to give them a choice when they get to the end of the line. If they want water instead of milk, they can pick up water. Then, if a child does bring their meal from home, the water is a 16.9-ounce bottle. It's going to be 50 cents. Where can you get a bottle of water for 50 cents? And so we're rolling that campaign out. I think rolling out at Stiles Point tomorrow, I believe. Then next week it'll be at Whiteside, and then Sullivan's Island. So we're continuing to roll it out. But we feel that if we can give them a choice, it's really inexpensive, 50 cents. And by the way, that 50 cents will be, once we get it all rolled out, will be for teachers, administrators, anybody can buy the water for 50 cents. We think it'll be really, really a positive for the school. All righty. And lastly, over the years, I couldn't do all that I do without the partnerships, especially from the Lean team and MUSC. It's been a joy to work with them. It's been a joy to talk to doctors like Dr. Ann and a lot of the doctors that are in here today to find out what can we do to change. It's not going to change overnight because I do have to work within a budget, but it is going to change. Thanks.
Dave, I sound a little bit different. Walter looks better. He wears a tie. Now, all we're going to do right now is play a little game of Simon Says. One of the things we try to do when we're promoting physical activity in the How many doctors do we have in here? Raise your hand. Watch this. How many of you have ever said as a patient is walking out the door, eat better and get a little exercise? Man, just think, Walt, me and you could have been doctors. All we have to do is try to get people to eat better and get a little more exercise. And the one place that they can get more exercise is in our schools. Now, one of the things that we have to provide for them is a quality education and instructional time. But we can also, within that instructional time, provide physical activity and move the kids. The science that I have tried to teach over the past 5 or 6 years bears out the fact that if a kid is moving, he is a kinesthetic learner. 80% of our children are kinesthetic learners. Why are we trying to teach them statically by sitting them in a 2x2 cell and incarcerating them for, 18 years? That's what we do with them. But I've tried to get people to move, and I know that there's so many people in here that have taken up the charge, and they get their kids moving in schools, and they have them doing physical activity. And I want to give you a 2-hour presentation in the next 5 minutes. So where's the little clicker here? And here's what it looks like. Why should we exercise in schools? I don't know, because this doesn't work. Go ahead, Carolyn. Why should we exercise in school? Because action-based learning, that we have had 6 people just this past summer that were certified in action-based learning as master trainers in action-based learning can come to your school. Go ahead, Carolyn. This is action-based learning. Go ahead. Many of you have seen it. I can certainly bring it to your school and show you what ABL is. It is a physiological developmental skill concept. There you go. That's good. Just let it roll. Oh, you got it. Good girl. Thank you. And so it kind of looks like this, and we get kids moving. And it is all connected with learning. So I can come to your school and talk to you about that. All Minds exercising room at Mitchell looks something like this. If you want it in your school, one of the things that you can do is to see what it's about, see how it can affect the learning of your children in your school, and then maybe go out and raise the money and get a room that looks something like this in your school. Yoga. We provide yoga at several of our schools. I don't know how many of you are lucky enough to have yoga in your school with your kids, but it did wonders for that sort of internal modus of control that a lot of kids are lacking. And what it does, the yoga kind of helps them develop that sense. These are kids at Mitchell, and what I love about them is that every one of these kids has a smile on their face when they're doing this. It's special needs. If you have special needs in your school, and can provide a physical developmental, a physical activity piece for those kids. It really helps in their learning. Improves student test scores. If you'll take a look at this, this is a research project done by two medical university pediatricians that they had published saying that categorically a quality physical education program leads to better academics and better behaviors. And as we go through this is a brain blast. We've already done one brain blast. Instead of brain breaks in your school, I like to call them brain blasts. Brain breaks sound like you can turn it off. Brain blast sounds like we're going to turn it up. Charleston Progressive ran a program at their school prior to their morning intake, and they were able to decrease negative behaviors by 50% and suspensions by 60% just with a early morning program that had nothing to do with their instructional time. Northwoods Middle School, we put in a physical education program over there, very, very structured physical education program for kids that most needed it. You had to qualify for this program. You had to have 8 referrals in the first semester, and you had to be about 3 years behind reading level. And if you can speed read through this, you can see that every one of these kids' negative behaviors went down and academics went up. In fact, the one that I am most proud of, there was a young man in the program who for the first time in his entire school career was actually promoted academically instead of passed on. So those are the kind of things that we're able to accomplish with a quality physical education program. We ran the same sort of program at Burke Middle School, 22 males. You can see the referral trending in the first semester. It went up as high as 1.3 referrals a day on each kid. So you're talking about 35 referrals a day on 22 kids. That makes an AP's job extremely difficult. We plugged in a strenuous physical education program first week in second semester, and this was the referral trending during the second semester. They had quality physical education every day. These are RIT scores, if all the administrators in here can see that, but for you doctors, I like to break it down into a nice graph right here with an arrow. In 4 months, these 7th graders made a 1.5-year grade growth in their MAP scoring and a 1-year grade growth in their math scoring. These are programs that we have plugged in at various schools of most need. What if we plugged these programs into every school in Charleston County? We would move our kids to a point where the vision has always wanted to take them. And the vision was that we start very small and that we grow as we're growing now. And ultimately, Charleston County will be the absolute leader in the United States as a district that moves their children with intention, that moves them with a purpose, and that purpose is to make them healthier and better students. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it so much.
So I'd like to introduce Bob Stevens to y'all, for those of y'all that have not met him before. He is a Charleston County School District employee, and he is an outstanding statistician, which we found out about, and have been working with him on looking at some of our data from the years of the wellness checklist contest that we've had, and started to do some analyses on that. And so we're going to talk to you a little bit about that today. In addition to that, Bob's day job, I always get it wrong. Are you the director of school climate?
School climate, yeah.
School climate. That's Mr. Bob Stevens.
Thank you. All right. Talking about numbers, Dave, 18 years to get through school? Golly. 18 years?
I like to come
Okay. I heard that. I just, after that, I couldn't hear anything else. I couldn't, yeah. Okay. Bob Stevens. I actually work a lot with Dave. We do a lot of the research you just saw. I specifically am interested in looking at I got to get behind the thing, don't I? Specifically interested in looking at the school climate, which goes back to some of the discipline issues that Dave talked about, and just reinforce what he said. The action-based learning makes a huge difference on the school day, on the behavior of the students, and then it clearly has a academic payoff as well. So real excited about that. Now, one of the things that you have in your packet, and one of the things we want to do to connect you to this work, and Dr. Keyes mentioned it, most of you sit on your school wellness team. And you're going to hear more about this from Colleen in a little bit, but as you know, for the last several years, there has been a wellness checklist that the school wellness team reviews and goes over and determines how many of these things that they've done. So what I was charged with doing by Boeing and also a small grant from NIH. NIH is very interested in this work as well. So we looked at these wellness scores, and we put them on a system to see how well we were implementing things. You have that for your school in front of you, so you may want to get that out, because as I talk, you can refer to it. Okay, I'm going to jump forward in this very quickly. You saw some of the specific aims. Dr. Keyes mentioned those, and so we won't spend much time on them. What I would really like to get to is, again, the partnership with, for initially the Lean team, and then with Boeing, and now with other groups, and how we're going to change the wellness in our schools so we do get the academic and behavioral payoffs. So the school wellness checklist is a way that we're going to do that. And so far, in doing the wellness checklist for 3 years, in 2011, 53 schools, the second year, 52 schools, and this past year, 72 schools participated in the wellness checklist. Okay, moving forward, and I should have used Goodwin. I didn't realize. I just went in alphabetical order, and I put Angel Oak up here. But this is the checklist that you have in your packet. This is Angel Oak, and I'm actually going to walk up here a little bit and point to some of these things. As you look at your packet, you have a number of, if you look at the categories, we have topics such as how well does the team operate in the school? Was it established? Does it meet regularly? Do the people show up to the meetings? The second category is school meals. Just heard a great talk about the school meals in the district. Huge information there. Also, when Walter was talking, he made a couple of references to snack policies. So we have, as a wellness, one of our subcategories, one of our domains is snack policies. Education, that is how good a job have we done connecting our educational material. If we're going to read a story, why not read a story about wellness and use some of those kinds of educational skills in helping our students make better choices. Physical activity, Dave just talked a lot about physical activity. Social emotional, that has to do, actually, Dave alluded to it, to some of the calming kinds of effects that relaxation kinds of things that yoga and other kind of activities are important for us. Social emotional, wellness culture, the overall wellness culture of the school. Family friendly, are we getting our parents and community members to come in and be involved in some of the wellness activities at the school? And then last but not least, employee connections. And again, Dr. McGinley, in her speech, her talk, specifically mentioned getting the faculty members involved. They are the models. The kids are looking at the faculty members, the staff members, and obviously if they are living a wellness lifestyle, that'll rub off on the students as well. So just going forward, don't look at this, we're not looking at this as a got you. What we're trying to do is give the schools and you as a docs the ability to pick select areas that the school needs to work on, needs to improve. So average scores here, about 78. And we have a great little curve there for us statisticians. We really love to see normal curves like that. These are the categories with average points. Now, these average points are for the elementary schools, not for the middle and high schools. There are some slight point differences for middle and high schools. Your graph, the averages are done based on the level of the school. I didn't want to spend too much time. But again, getting started, school meals, snack policies, education, those categories we just talked about. This is the average for elementary school. So if you are an elementary school doc, pull your sheet out right now. You can look at your school and compare where it stacks to other elementary schools and get the idea of how they're stacking up.
If you're a doctor, your school that's here has your actual graph.
Oh, okay.
At the
I'm sorry.
We're going to be coordinating. Yeah, the schools, you'll have two. You'll have a color copy for yourself, and you'll have a black and white copy in your folder to give your doctor. Everyone's like looking.
I apologize. I thought you had it in front of you. I'm sorry. You'll have the graph.
You guys
Yeah.
your schools, and you're going to be able to look.
In that case, we won't spend much time on this. However, as I click from elementary to middle and high, you can see what happens. Unfortunately, we get to high school, and we can see what happens. So if you are a doc for a high school, I'll go back and do it again. There's elementary school, middle school, and some of those things get a little lower in high school. Overall, this is a very interesting one. Been doing this for 3 years, and if you know anything about schools, any program in schools tends to fall off after a couple of years. This is the average scores for schools that were doing it after 1 year. And this is the average of all 1 years. And you can see second year really takes hold and jumps up. One of our big fears is after that second year, we've been doing it for a couple of years, that things would fall off a little bit. While we have a slight fall off in year 3, we don't have a real big fall off. So again, as docs in these schools, keep encouraging, keep an eye out, particularly when you get to year 3 and 4. Make sure we keep working with our wellness committee. And some quick information. That was all Charleston County information. Some quick information regarding Berkeley and Dorchester. Here's the number of participating schools you can see, the number of winning schools, and Jen will talk about the winning process in a little bit, and the years of contest participation. These are just some interesting information on school nutrition, comparing the 3 districts, and I won't go read through all of them, but for example, the first one, the percent of schools who held regular fruit and vegetable tastings for students. Kind of an interesting statistic. So Walter was talking, and he spoke earlier about how important it is to get people to come into the school and show the fruits and vegetables, look at new kinds of fruit and vegetables, and share them with the students. And tastings is one way to do that. Some great information here. Here's some information on wellness environment, comparing the 3 districts. And again, please remember, Berkeley and Dorchester have not been doing this as long as Charleston County is, so we would expect Charleston County to show a little higher. I keep talking to Dr. McGinley. I said, we got to keep moving because Berkeley and Dorchester are going to be coming after us, so she's aware of that. So we got to keep on our toes. Okay? And again, if there's anything we can do, if you would like to look at any further statistics or in detail, contact me. I'm happy to sit down with you. Or if you'd like me to come to a school wellness committee with you to talk about some of the numbers, we're happy to do that. Thank you so much.
I'm going to give just a really quick presentation on something that we did this summer. Many of you doctors in this room participated in either one or 2 ways that we surveyed this summer. We had a SurveyMonkey survey that went out to all Docs Adopt doctors, and we also randomized all of you and did in-person interviews. So I want to just report back a little bit on what we heard from all of y'all and what we're doing with that feedback. So we conducted, and let me start by saying, and I'd like to recognize Dr. Ann for this, and Dr. Valerie Scott. Is she here in the room? Okay, she's another one of our Docs Adopt doctors. Well, Dr. Valerie Scott's daughter and one of Dr. Ann's mentees at one of the local high schools, they were our summer interns, and they were the ones that did all of this for us, and they just did an absolutely fantastic job. So 15 in-person interviews, 21 surveys. Here's some of the feedback that we got on the Docs Adopt trainings. 81% of the physicians had attended at least 1 training. 16 doctors surveyed found the trainings useful. 1 did not. Many of the doctors mentioned that having their wellness committee members in attendance is crucial. And so that's something that we really have tried very hard to work on every year. And as you'll notice, a lot of you probably got multiple emails from us, particularly the doctors, as we found out that the school person was going to be in attendance, or vice versa, the school person when we said, hey, you know, your school doctor is coming, so please try and make it tonight. Doctors that had attended a more recent training seemed more knowledgeable about the program than those who had attended a training in year 1 or 2. And that's because the training and the program has been evolving over the years. And now we're tying it a lot more to this wellness checklist contest, because the wellness checklist is something that has really mobilized the entire district around implementing wellness in their schools. So we really feel like that's a good way that doctors can focus on working with the school. And most doctors thought annual training sessions were appropriate. We wanted to query all of y'all to find out if you wanted to meet every year, if you wanted to meet more frequently, less frequently. Most people said once a year was good. Top training suggestions we heard, and we've got some check marks up there by things in the presentation that we're implementing. Having trainings available online. We've got last year's training online, and if this one records the same, we'll have this one online as well. I didn't mention, just another quick anecdote, we have another team member, Lucy Kramer, and she had her baby last week, and she's our IT specialist, so she's not here tonight. She is taking care of her brand new baby boy who came 3 weeks early. The second one, presenting ideas on how to contact and work with schools. Giving more examples of what other schools are doing, and that's why starting last year and also this year we'll have some doctors speaking about what they're doing in their schools, some really neat things that they've done. Providing more educational materials to hand out. We're updating our website with materials that y'all can look at and print out. Including food services in the training, so we made sure that we had Walter giving y'all an update on what's going on in the schools. And changing the name from training to retreat, update, or workshop. So we're playing around with that a little bit because we got some feedback. Well, how many years do you need to be trained if you're part of the program? And that makes a lot of sense. So we thought retreat sounded kind of fun. So we're working with that one this year. Suggested training topics: how to connect and work with your school, success stories and ideas from other schools, asthma education, and nutrition and food services. So with the asthma education part, there were actually about 3 or 4 doctors that had mentioned that, and I know we do have an asthma specialist in the room with Dr. Bowman, and he has kindly agreed to do a blog post for us next week, so we're hoping maybe asthma can be incorporated into that. Working with the schools. Positive experiences. Some of the doctors surveyed reported some of these positive experiences: enjoying meeting the wellness committee and our parents, enjoying getting to see what school wellness committees were doing. One of them had gone on a shopping trip with nutritionists and parents at the school and really enjoyed that, and enjoying being a resource. So we're getting a lot of good feedback about how this is benefiting the physicians as well. Some negative experiences, difficulty contacting and working with the school, and that's always a challenge. Schools are busy places, doctors are busy people, so this type of relationship, it's very individualized, and it takes effort, and oftentimes it may take a few times of reaching out and making that contact. But as you'll hear in a few minutes, for those who have really made contact and are able to do some really exciting things with the school, that it can be very rewarding and worth even a hiccup or two at the beginning. Scheduling difficulty, unsure of how to contribute. Again, we're trying really hard to do a better job of helping y'all to know, feeding you with some ideas of ways that you can work with the school, but not prescripting what you must do. We want it to maintain that individual relationship, and being paired late in the year. Challenges identified, and these are some direct quotes from the interviews. Wellness is not always a top priority at overworked schools, is what one of the physicians said. And again, wellness is certainly a priority to everyone in this room, but for a school that has a lot of other things that they have to do, that has to pass the students, etc., there are a lot of pressures. So we wanted to give some ideas of some things that could be done to meet these challenges. So ensuring that school, helping that school to have a diversified wellness committee, get some administrators on the school wellness committee, include the PTA or the school improvement committee. Every school is required to have a school improvement committee, so that's another way that you can reach out to the school. Pick achievable goals. Don't look at the checklist as something like monumental or think you have to change everything all at once. Pick some small goals as a school that you can work on. And solicit community resources or ask for help. And we're always here and we're happy to help. I mean, we can't be individually at every single school, but we're always an email or a phone call away, and we try our very best to be responsive. struggles in working with food services. Well, we're hoping to overcome that hurdle, as y'all saw tonight, and that's one of the main reasons we wanted Walter Campbell to speak. He's a wonderful person and very approachable, and the amount of pressure that he has in his job is just something that probably nobody else in this room would want. So it's always an uphill battle when you're trying to improve a system and improve something, you know, especially with the budget costs that he has. But, you know, he's very responsive, so if you have any ideas, reach out to him directly. Include food service staff on the wellness committee. That's huge, and a lot of times they're not on the wellness committees, and I know sometimes that's because of the time of the day the wellness committees are being held. So maybe sometimes vary the time that you have your committee meetings so that you can engage a person from your food service staff. And identifying trainings for your local food service staff. A lot of them don't have that same type of career path that we have where you can get like CME credits or go to trainings and learn new things. So being able to identify resources and trainings like that for your food service staff can really give them a lot of pride in their job and you know, go a long way. Communication. Okay, in terms of contact with schools, doctors fell into two categories. That's those who had established regular contact with the wellness committees and those who had not. This was the main determining factor we found of success in the program. Of those who did not have successful communication with their schools, only one had not attempted to make contact. Generally, it was that the wellness committee did not maintain contact with their doctor. Of those who had successful contact, the majority reported having one main contact person through whom they communicated, and that was usually the school nurse. And that was something that we tried last year. The school nurse is not always, but is often the wellness committee lead. Or if they're not the lead, they're on the wellness committee, but not always. So we spoke with the head of school nursing last year, and as those of y'all that were at the training last year know, we gave out your school's nurse name as well if you had adopted that school as a contact person. Just know that the school nurse may not be the lead at that school, but we felt that that was a good contact person for you to have as well too, in addition to the wellness coordinator. Ongoing communication. The majority of doctors reported communicating with their schools via email. Only a few doctors physically attended wellness committee meetings. Again, you know, sometimes it's hard for doctors to make it to a school out of their busy day, but that does not mean that they can't be clued into what the wellness committee is doing. If your wellness committee has minutes, send out the minutes to the doctor so that the doctor will be up to speed. And, you know, if you do that with frequency, then it's much more likely that at some point in time they might find some free time to come and participate in a committee meeting because they'll feel like they're up to speed and they know what's going on at the school. And they can always chime in with some resources they might have that relate to some of the items that y'all spoke about. Also, we found that some of the most successful doctors already had a tie with their adopted school, which is normal. 100% of respondents responded favorably to a newsletter or forum connecting docs adopt doctors. And that is one thing that we've been scratching our heads about for the past couple of years, of how can we come up with something that can connect everybody and help them to communicate and not be something that's so monstrous to maintain, and where would it be maintained? So this is what we've come up with. This is our start. We created a couple of weeks ago the MUSC's Blowing Center for Children's Wellness blog. This is a blog for doctors. This is a blog for school representatives. And it's going to be not just Charleston County, but we're also going to fold in the folks that we're working with in Dorchester and Berkeley counties as well, too. Oh, thanks for clicking on it. So as you'll see, we've got a few posts up there real quick. Well, we've got a few posts up there that have been posted within the past 2 weeks. Dr. Bowman is going to be the second doctor posting. Dr. Angie Soto has already posted something on her work with Hersey. I think the pictures are being blocked just because of the system here. But please go on there and check it out. It is MUSC Blogspot. Oh, wait. Okay. MUSC Bowing Center.blogspot.com. Yes, and follow it by email. Please sign up by email. Then every time there's a new posting on it, you'll get an email with the new post. Absolutely, we will. And if you'd like to be a contributor, please contact us. And you can either send us your blog information or we can add you to the blog members list. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I've been instructed not to mute this thing accidentally. Also, Carolyn's going to be co-presenting with me, and we're going to make it quick because this is really about learning about the checklist, and then you're going to get together with your school wellness coordinator and actually work on it. So how do we get started? All right, this is a little quiz for you. All right, ready? Carolyn, you're going to have to do the little symbols because I have to hold the microphone. All right, the wellness checklist is a simple way for schools to earn $1,000 for their schools. So if you think it's A, make arm circles. All right. If you think it's B, a tool for wellness committees to plan wellness activities that make sense for their school, then snap your fingers at the same time or separately. And then C, a way that a school can track its wellness activity over time. Stomp your feet. All right, and the answer was all of the above. Another little brain break there for you. All right, so this year, last year, we went from paper to online, which the feedback's been extremely positive. We're so excited. You no longer can use the paper one. We have it in your packets tonight. You'll be working off of it, but submissions and keeping going throughout the year are online. And it's very easy. We over the summer, we had a lot of brainstorming, and we revised the checklist as we do every year. And you'll see some changes, good changes. We're not going to go over all of that, but that's just changes because it's been reinforced over and over tonight as to the great things that have been accomplished by the schools. Getting started is our number one category. We have 7 categories this year. Last year we had 6, so there's a new one. See if you can remember it by the end. All right, getting started includes things like having a wellness committee, which everybody here does, having a doctor adopt your school, having a mission statement or policies, or a health plan. All right, so that's just an example. And Carolyn, how the doctors can help?
So these are some things. You all have all the doctors in here have a Docs Adopt action guide. So a lot of these ideas are listed. So if you leave tonight and you have any questions, you can kind of find out, okay, so how can I get involved with this really long checklist again? The schools, you guys just have your checklist in there. But so how Adopt can help get your school started. First, you can adopt a school. Everyone in here has a school. Make contact with your school wellness lead. We've really emphasized the whole night the importance of communication. We printed out a list for everybody. If you didn't get one of these, get it at the front. It wasn't in your folder. We handed it to you at the beginning, and it has who your school's wellness committee lead is, also your school nurse, and then schools, it has your physician. We didn't want to put everyone's personal contact information on there, so you can email leanteam@musc.edu, and we will email you your personal doctors or your school's actual email address and phone number. So just keep in touch with them. Get on your school wellness email list for updates, just like Jennifer mentioned, and attend the school wellness committees if possible. We know schedules are crazy. One way you can help create a health plan, if you can assist your school with developing or maintaining their wellness mission statement. That's really important foundation for your school to get going.
All right, passing this thing back and forth. All right, the newest category, last year we had one category called physical well-being. This year, and it was composed of the same things, nutrition and physical activity. So this year we thought it made way more sense to go ahead and separate it out. That way the sections are shorter and they're very focused. So nutrition is its own category this year. And things that you already heard about, fruit and veggie tastings, healthy snack promotion, health, birthday policies, and of course water campaigns, which not only is this district pushing water, but so are individual schools. So that's a good thing. All right, and then Carolyn?
So how the doctors can help, this is a huge list of examples of different snack policies and education to get involved with your schools and help them with their nutrition. Help the schools develop non-food rewards, fundraisers. We have a ton of ideas listed on our Lean Team website under school resources and doctor resources. Connecting your school with local chefs, farmers, nutritionists for healthy eating demonstrations. If you don't have the time to do a healthy eating demonstration at your school, working in healthcare, you might know somebody who does. And then just more examples. These things are all listed on the checklist. Helping meet with the principal to advocate if it's a school policy-wide change like the birthday policies. Making a presentation to PTA or faculty, and just, once again, utilizing the people in the community you know who might be able to help out your school.
All All right, the third category then was physical activity, and you heard all about that from Dave, so I'm not going to belabor that point. I just want to make one announcement, and that's, well, really two. The communities or school walks. All right, in October, Eat Smart, Move More, the local coalition that exists here in Charleston, Tri-County area, has designated October 5th, well, the month of October, right, as Let's Go Walk. So they're going to help us host the Bridge Walk on October 5th, which is a Saturday. We walk the first Saturday of every month. We start on the Charleston side of the bridge. We lead it. It's for free. And schools have been coming out for the last, several years. We get lots of people out there. You don't have to be out there with us, but, we're a pretty good, fun group to go with. And we take pictures and send emails, and there's a monthly newsletter accompanied with that. The next walk then is October 5th. It starts at 9 o'clock on the Charleston side, if you want to get a school team together to go out there. And then October is the 9th, is the Walk to School Day in South Carolina. So that's happening, correct? Yep. All right. Some of the schools already know that they're participating.
So how can a doctor get involved? You can help your school organize a walking or a running club or some type of health club. You can do this before school. It doesn't always have to be after school. A lot of times when kids come to school early in the morning, they're in the classrooms or they're sitting outside in the hallways. Get them walking and moving in the morning or some type of health club. Participating with your school team, once again, a community bridge walk or a walk to school day event. That was a picture of Dr. Seda, who also posted on our blog. She participates in the school's walk to school day events every year. Bringing outside fitness programs or equipment into the school. Dr. Habib with Lang Middle. This picture right here, the school applied for a grant, and then to get a lot of this fitness equipment, and Dr. Habib also found a community resource that had some extra equipment and helped bring it into the school that he adopted. So it's a great resource for the school. And then you can also help educate the school staff on the importance of the brain breaks, like Dave said, getting that blood flow back to the brain. A lot of the teachers don't understand the importance of that. That's the wellness committee and the physician's job. Let the whole school community know the importance of getting the kids up and moving during the day. It's going to help them learn better and help with behavior.
All right, category 4 is stress management. It sort of speaks for itself. It used to be under social emotional well-being, and we changed that to be stress management because really the items on the checklist were stress management focused, and it was a little confusing. People thought we were dealing with mental health issues, and we were not in the checklist. So stress management makes, yeah, you should see some of the requests we got. But anyway, stress management is way more within our realm of expertise. Let's just say that.
Related to obesity. Stress and obesity link. That's what we're aiming for, not mental health. So the doctors can help the school create a meditative space for teachers, just like this picture right here. So relaxing, just a couple of Adirondack chairs and a tree, very nice for the staff. You can be a guest speaker about some of the importances of de-stressing your life and how that connects to just total well-being and wellness. You can help connect the school. There are a lot of points on the checklist for having outside vendors, massage therapists, chiropractors, yoga come into the school and work with the students and teachers to help relax them.
All right, category 5 is establishing a wellness culture, and although it sounds self-explanatory, there's a number of things you can do on there. There's morning announcements that just about every school in the district does. Doctors have been really helpful in writing announcements. What we'd really love to see sometime is somebody record a few announcements, and then they could actually come over the school's video and intercom to see the doctor. But if that's not possible, just even sending once, an announcement that could be read every day for a week, or different themes that the wellness committees might be working on. That's a very easy way, I think, for you to be involved, is just to help with those morning announcements. Another easy way for schools to get points is the Healthy Library. There's one under this category. It's for students. And this is an example. That picture up there is an example. They just simply moved all the books related to health onto one bookcase and put a little flyer up there to show you where they would be, and that's for students. There's another category for a employee health library, but that's on a different category. And a fruit and veggie art contest. This was because the school, was this Goodwin Elementary this year, right? Because they were so integrated with their wellness culture. One thing I think you need to ask yourself, when you walk into my school, would you know we have a wellness focus? And how would you know? if you can ask yourself those two questions, how would I know? And help your school look like it has a wellness culture, not just paying it lip service, which that's not happening. You all are doing amazing things. Oh, I'm sorry, it keeps going, right. Okay, a healthy newsletter. Today we received a newsletter on the right over there on the screen. It's Burke Middle High School. Now, they did an amazing job. We had a district wellness committee meeting. One of the guys from Burke serves on that committee, and he ran with everything that was said at that meeting and went back to his committee. They pumped out this newsletter and are now distributing it about all the physical activity things that they're going to do, because they're going to focus for the month of October on physical activity, particularly walking, running, but not exclusively, which is why you'll see Zumba and yoga and all of that. But one thing happened that they didn't do is they didn't blast that out to they didn't share that with their doctor. So we got it, and we didn't notice the doctor being copied on the email, and we forwarded it. So I think this is an important point for both the schools and the doctors to think that, well, just because maybe you haven't seen your doctor yet or had a contact with them, you will have their contact information. So please just include them in any correspondence or some great stuff that you do, because this is fantastic, and it needs to get out there.
So Colleen went over a lot of ways the doctors can help. Once again, they're listed here. Good job, Colleen. We did have a doctor go on the healthy shopping tour with parents. That was really great last year. Contributing a health article for the newsletter. That's a great way to get your doctor involved. Just an email away, and the morning announcements, they're huge. Those are big points on the checklist and really easy emails, tips. Doctors, you have it all up here. Just email it to your schools. Schools, ask them for it. And then connecting a school to existing health screening resources for their employees as well. That was another way we thought the doctors could really get involved.
All right, category 6 is employee connections, and for the most part, great things are happening in that category. You can get a lot of points for employee connections, community team events. Any school that has at least 3 employees doing something together, whether it's dancing, yoga, aerobics, taking a walk, signing up for a community event, participating here in Charleston, they have the Superintendent's Tennis Cup, but it doesn't have to be fancy. If it's 3 teachers walking at school around the track, but they do it consistently and they call themselves something, then that works and that earns points.
So, ways doctors can get involved. Also in that category, there's some survey development for employees. Doctors, if you're interested in helping your school with that, you know how to do surveys and research and things like that, simple surveys. Once again, being a guest speaker, there are a lot of different professional development days where you can connect with the staff at your school. Helping establish, once again, the health resource library for students. That schools also get another point for doing staff. So if you work with adults and you have a lot of great adult resources. And then joining your school team in any type of community event. Once again, that'll help maybe with some scheduling things, ways you can get involved. A lot of those things are in the evening or on Saturdays. So that's just another way where you might be at your practice during the day, but you can get more involved with your wellness committee this year.
All right, and our final but new category, sounds good, doesn't it? Category 7, sustainability. And y'all are doing a really good job on most of this already. Community partnerships, you have several. Some schools have so many. We're just astounded when we start looking at the school reports at the end of the year, how many connections they've actually made. And you're also doing good writing grants. The Cooper River Bridge Run grant, we just blasted it out in our blog yesterday, that those grants are coming, their applications are open, and that they end on October 11th. And you can get $1,500 for your school. Anything that promotes physical activity, they're very easy to get, and they're very easy to fill out. They're at one page answering a few questions. Fuel Up to Play 60 is another huge thing. This will give your school up to $4,000, $2,000 for nutrition activities or improvement, and $2,000 for physical activity. We have a template available that we can share with you. We will be blogging that as well. So these are some ideas. And then the last one with that big question mark. All right, we all know that right now we've been very successful. You see the data that we give back. We're very good stewards of our money, extremely good stewards. However, right now, Boeing has been extremely generous. We don't know that they'll continue to be so generous, forever. So one of the things that any good program would do would be work towards sustainability. This year, on the checklist, if you bring a $500 community partner to the table, that means that they give the school, or they pledge to give us to give to you $500, then you will get 10 points on your checklist, which is huge. If you're a first-time school, you only have to get 30 points, so that's a third of your points. If you're a second or more year school, you only need 50. It's still a significant amount of points. So it's not required, obviously, but it's certainly encouraged, and we hope that you'll be able to do that. If you need help from us, of course, we have a reference letter, already on our website to help you approach a business or a partner.
So how doctors can help? Have your practice actually be the local business partner for your school. Once again, not required. There are a lot of different ways you can be a partner by contributing to the Wellness Award. You can also donate playground items, pedometers, water bottles, things the school is using. You can help your school apply for a lot of these grants. The Fuel Up to Play 60 grant is a little more complicated. The Cooper River Bridge grant, like Colleen mentioned, is a simple one-pager. Connect your school with other local business partners. Maybe you have a friend that owns their business that they would love to get involved with your school's wellness committee and help donate towards that $500 towards their $1,000. And then once again, we have the end of the year school wellness roundtable event. We've seen those pictures a couple times. You can help support that as well. So just some things to think about. The award process, once again, April 25th. It's the week after spring break, so we give everyone a week when you guys get back to get those points logged in. We close it at midnight on the 25th. You guys, most of you know how this works. In May and June, we'll have the roundtable, $1,000 given to all the schools. Your wellness committee gets to determine how you would like to use that money for physical activity, nutrition, and wellness initiatives. And tell us what you did with the money. We always like to hear the great things you guys are doing because everyone's doing such a great job. This is our contact information, leanteam@musc.edu. That goes to all 4 of us, well, 3 of us for now until Lucy gets back from maternity leave. There's our website where you can find under school resources and physician resources a lot of the resources and ideas we've mentioned tonight. And that's it's also linked on our website, the BCCW. That's how you log into the checklist. And you can always email us if you forgot your username and password. We have all of those to email individually. So keep up the great work. Here's our blog again. We're going to be blasting out all sorts of different ideas and resources. We're not constantly going to email you every time we update the blog because that's going to get really annoying. So follow by email, and that way you'll get a personal email every time something's updated on the blog. So please do that. We're working with the IT department as well to make sure that the district isn't blocking things and everything like that. So definitely email us if you have any issues. And now we are going to hear 2 success stories from our doctors. We're really excited. Dr. Taylor, you want to come up? Thanks.
Adopted Matilda Dunstan last year, and unfortunately we didn't really get a chance to meet until late spring. I think because the training was in October, it was late last year, and then the holidays and then our schedules. So our wellness committee really didn't get to meet until the late spring, but we got off to a roaring start over the summer. Do I have a clicker? That's a thank you. So Ms. Malone is our principal, and she has been an absolute force because she is totally behind this wellness committee and us doing our wellness initiatives. And this was the committee back in the spring. We only had 4 or 5 people on the committee, and Kathy White has been my contact. She leads our wellness committee. She is not my school nurse, but she is an absolute dynamo, and I would not be able to do this without her. And since we first met back then, we have added, Kathy, how many? We have 10 members total, 1 including a student. And so we are trying to meet regularly. We try to meet once a month, and if I can't make it, they are very, very good about emailing me the minutes and telling me what I'm responsible for. So it's been great. To start off this year, we felt it was really important to involve the faculty and staff. So we actually had a health screening for all of the faculty and staff, where we did fasting blood pressures, fasting cholesterol panels, fasting blood sugars. We did a fat analysis and waist circumference. And we had we only had initially 12 or so people sign up for it, but as the word got out that it was it was a finger stick, so they got their results immediately. We could go over the results with them. We had nurse practitioners, physicians on hand to answer questions. And so we ended up doing over 35 people that morning for the teacher work day. We identified quite a few people with pretty significantly high blood pressure, quite a few people with very high cholesterol numbers, and several had blood sugars over 300 that were not known to be diabetic. So we really, I feel like, did help identify some medical problems within the faculty and staff. So the plan was to do an email blast or a letter to all the faculty and staff every month on a topic of wellness. And then the plan is to repeat the screening in May at the end of the year and see how much improvement we've had in all of the parameters according to the different faculty and staff. Some of our activities thus far, on September 19th, we had our first PTA program in open house. We did a wellness day where we had a quiet room for faculty and staff. We had chair massages. Dr. Bowman actually came and spoke about childhood asthma at our PTA wellness event, and we had a healthy snack. We have also come up with a quarterly newsletter that we send to all the families at our school. And so the first one we just did, kind of, is TV Bad for You. We talked about the importance of limiting TV time, getting children active instead of sitting in front of the television. We included a low-fat recipe that costs 80 cents to develop, so it's like, a quarter per serving. We did word searches and then vitamin C, which is a food. So we tried to do something for both the parents and for the students. And that's going to go out quarterly. So upcoming events, we're doing the Walk to School Day in October as well, but this Saturday we have 2 different teams participating in the Heart Walk. One of our cafeterias put together a team and they're participating. Then we have another team from the school faculty and staff that are participating. On October 5th, we're having our fall carnival, so we're having 3 wellness booths, and we're also doing smoothies and other healthy snacks. October 24th is Family Fitness Night, where we're going to have about 10 different activities for the families to do. So we're going to have Zumba, praise aerobics, karate. We're having several of the peds orthopedic residents are going to come out and talk about sports safety, especially bike safety, skateboard safety. We have a local bike shop who's going to come out as well. We have several pediatric dentists from the area coming in to talk about pediatric dental health and give out, freebies. And then the fire truck's going to come. They're going to talk about fire safety. So it should be fun. It's just some upcoming events for February Heart Month. We've decided to do a physical wellness contest to involve students, faculty, staff, and families. We're doing a wellness writing and art contest with awards in March. We have talking about doing a school garden. We do have weekly fitness tips that we're putting out in the bulletin board and announcements every week. And the first Saturday of every month, the faculty and staff get together and we try to walk the Ravenel Bridge. That's our short person.
you choose we chose Capri Sun juice boxes. Do you know what I'm talking about? The ones you flatten. And we collect those and we send them off, and you get 10 cents per juice pouch. Which I know we would prefer them to eat whole fruit, right, Dr. Ann? But but these are coming from home, not from our lunchroom. And so 10 cents. So last year we got $500 from just packing those up and shipping them off. But it's TerraCycle.com, and you could do Cliff Bar wrappers, but you choose your recycle item. So I think that was pretty cool and a great source of money that we can use any way we want to. So.
And then we have the oyster recycling. We're a partial magnet. The Thomas Island is a partial magnet school for science and environment. So we had and if you go to the website, I think we have a link at the end, www.siswellness.com. You can see great pictures and things. Okay. Just a couple of general wellness things we do at Thomas Island, like you do at your school. We have a weekly Wellness Wednesday that the nurse puts out, and it comes out through the announcements, so the whole school hears. It can be nutrition, safety, different things. And then our grand finale at Thomas Island is the Wellness Fair, and you will see after this, it's all pictures, so we can just flash through them. Those are all the different stations that have been in the different wellness fairs. We had 4. I think you've done 3, and then there was 1 before you. So 4 wellness fairs at the end where the kids rotate through different stations every 10 minutes. And it's really organized, even though you have like 300-400 students. And you're going to see a little kind of a slideshow of the different stations. That one was sponsored by East Cooper Hospital. And the kids learn kind of to use hand sanitizer and rub it the proper way. And then look underneath and see the spots they miss, usually between the fingers. So hand hygiene. We had a chef from 5 Loaves come and make some spinach smoothies, and the kids loved them. And a mom did more smoothies and had a great time doing it, and the kids really enjoy them. That's me doing sun safety, the ABCs of sun safety. And Zumba, we actually had a grant for Zumba for the teachers and parents, but that's Zumba during the Wellness Fair this year. Surfing on the mud by Soul Surfers. Bike safety, kids by Tri-Sports. So a lot of community sponsors. And that's Linda Marie interview by David Quick, who made a little article. We were supposed to have Family Circle come, but they sort of forgot. So we had a dad who is a tennis pro, picked up the job, and still had the station with the net and everything he had in his truck. So it was great. And then yoga, she's the mother and also a yoga instructor. So there was a yoga, and that's our Cobras doing the yoga. And that's sort of the field where they do the mile club in the mornings. And it's a great thing to see. Those are healthy links. If the kid was caught doing something healthy or bringing a healthy snack, they got a link, and each class had a link. So the longest link was the winner of the 5th one. Okay, so that must be the pink. And those are a little vegetable garden. Couldn't really upload the pictures from our website, but we can maybe pull it. That's the Zumba. That's Sandcastle Day, sort of a yearly thing. And then now it's Moultrie, and we'll go through it really quick. But some of her legacy, she actually sent me these pictures today. I upload them at 4 o'clock. But that's the first day she put 4 square. She really does a lot with physical activity, and where Moultrie is a lucky school to have actually recess. Some of the middle schools I learned they don't. So that's the 4 square in the first day. Tetherball, and that's Zumba, also very popular. That's the 5K spring run this past spring. You might recognize some faces there. Dr. Key sent me that picture. I'm not sure where it's from. And Jenny. That's okay. The Veggies were walking, so that's the group best. And then that's the wellness walk with Nancy was there. And that's some pictures. I give credit to Caroline because she sent an email to all the wellness members. You can go there. Actually, I uploaded them. Yeah. You can just. Oh, you want to go on it? No, it's on there. I put the pictures. You keep going. Yeah, the pictures are there. So some of them, I put them up there. So that's a police officer giving a wellness. I mean, that's my son over there thinking, so my mom has a point when she makes me wear my helmet, but nobody else wears a helmet. Well, now it's mandated at Moultrie Middle School, every child who rides their bike to school, they have to wear a helmet. And that came after this, and thanks to you and the Wellness Committee at Moultrie Middle School. And I saw them this morning, riding their bikes. Yeah. So that's the principal, and Ms. Lee is the new on the right. She's a teacher, math teacher in 6th grade, and then Nancy Baker, she's gonna be dearly missed. She couldn't come today, but so when everyone becomes involved, wellness becomes the culture, the norm, the way of life. That's my saying. And she, with her minutes, sent that other saying, many hands make light work, and that's why we're here today. And I think there's one more this morning when I picked up the poster the nurses made. That's at Solomon's Island. And we have, like I said, a great website with some of our